we all wish we could be this place where we just live on truth.
Yeah.
That's where this guy was. It was just truth, and it wasn't about. It was great to be supported, and people did support him at the time, but it wasn't like he was going to go out and get a job or he wrote his books to share, and that gave him a little bit of income. But he was never a person that really got the economic returns on all the great things he shared with us.
Yeah, 100 years from now, Wes Bateman will probably wind up being one of these, lost geniuses that
we'll view him as a luminary.
Yeah, I get it.
And even for me, one night, I don't know if I shared this with you, but the first night I went to his house out in Arizona, we'd become phone buddies initially because of the book thing, and then finally I went out there to spend like the weekend and really dig down. And he said, "Hey, would you like to see a flying saucer fly over?" My eyes lit up. I went, "Whoa!" And he went into this trance state and did a mental hookup, and golly, about 8 o'clock that night, 2 craft flew over. Blew my mind. And once you've seen it, there's no coming back. And my wife and my kids, they go, "Dad, don't tell people that story. They'll think you're wacko." But I think, Robert, we're at that point where within the next 2 to 5 years, this is a non-issue. The flying saucers are real. There's going to be some sort of interaction with extraterrestrials, good or bad. I can't determine. Probably both. But the good ones, the wise ones, they're just sitting back and letting us do our thing. Because remember the Prime Directive, they're not supposed to mess with us. We're supposed to get it together on our own. We can't really pray for the day that the ETs are going to land and stop all this problem.
Right.
That's not their mission. They're more like monitors or watchers. They're watching we don't mess up the planet. If we do something really stupid that we're going to blow the planet up, there might be interference. But as far as our own social and our government and our money and our communications and our relationships, we're supposed to grow up now, because the reason we're isolated is because we're just like bad little kids that just can't get their act together. We're not ready to join the galactic community yet.
Right.
But we've got to realize it's our time. If we want to join the rest of them and celebrate the interplanetary and intergalactic communities that are out there, we've got to really take responsibility. And it's back to your initial announcements about the people in the legislature. We know they're all crooks. You can't get to be in power unless you're a crook.
Right.
And we all hope that Obama could be a Boy Scout and change the tide, but no way. His hands are tied. He can't just do it. I mean, or look at Kennedy. He thought he was a Boy Scout. And look what happened to him. So it's a nasty thing. Remember, there was that whole announcement by Eisenhower just before he left office about warning us about this military-industrial complex that's becoming a secret government.
Right.
And you see the conspiracy stuff, and even Jesse Ventura jumped into it, and they pulled his show off the air. He got 7 episodes out, and it was like, whoa, he's getting too deep. So the amount of suppression of technology and knowledge and information to keep the common man just working at his job and scraping to survive, and he's given all his power up because he's got to work. It's sad, but I think young people really get it. Young people know intuitively that there's something else, and I have a lot of faith in the human race, and there's a lot of good people out there.
I agree, Alan. I think the hardest part for most people is this sense of dislocation. It's not even a sense of dislocation. It is an utter reality of dislocation. Like right now, you're in Los Angeles, I'm in Northern California. There are people that are maybe all over the world that are listening to us. This is wonderful. We're having this great opportunity to connect and communicate and share these ideas. But at the end of the day, we're going to go back into our lives. I'm going to go hang out with whatever my milieu is here, which is certainly not as concentrated and focused as what you and I are sharing. The same for you and the same for the people that are listening to this program right now. And so what we have is we have these disconnected networks. And, the people that are running the planet for the most part have very connected networks, whether they're meeting, in Spain at the Bilderberger meeting in June, or they're sitting on each other's boards, or whatever, they are they are tacitly involved in working towards a particular end. And for the rest of us, we're like islands, and we're trying to build these bridges between our island-like experiences. And I would love to figure out a way where we can bridge that gap. I mean, do you think that with raw music and getting people back into natural resonance, that somehow we could actually get there faster or make it a more elegant process?
I do believe so. I envision, I've already set up the technology that, let's say there would be radio stations that would convert the frequencies of the broadcast, so that you're just driving around in your car doing everything you normally do, but the frequencies are more enhanced. It lowers the road rage. It takes down your stress. It seems like it didn't take that long to get to work this day. There's ways to, as we talked about, have pleasant experiences just in music that we can internalize, and we can quiet the disturbances and overcome the bumps of the road of the day that you have to open the mail and there's all these damn bills, or you got a bad haircut or whatever, the little stuff, and just kind of refocus to the big stuff. We've got the whole reason we're here on this earth right now, all of us, is because it's the big show.
Yeah.
I really believe throughout history of this planet, this is one of those seminal moments where we graduate or flunk the test of humanity. And I'm all for graduating and having a better game coming this way, and it's certainly doable. I've seen the technologies, all this stuff about zero-point energy, sustainability. These are all real, and this is stuff. Back to what's growing your own stuff in the backyard, and just making sure you got a filter on the water that comes through your faucet. And you drink the good stuff, because golly, we're 200 pounds of a human being. Let's just focus that, make sure that nothing bad gets in there, sound wise, sight wise, food wise, and that would already enhance our day.
Amen to that. So you have sent me some music samples. And we're going to give people the opportunity to listen to 440 scale music, and then to listen in the raw version of music. Now, you sent me five samples, and I uploaded 3 for brevity's sake, but to give people an example nonetheless. So,
Robert, which ones did you do? Did you get any of the Beatles songs in there?
I did. What I did is I took the violin, because I wanted people to hear straight violin, an instrumental, and then I took the Enya because I wanted to show a female voice, and then I got the Beatles. Those are the 3 I chose.
Great. All right. So what we're going to hear is we're going to hear the song twice. First, it's the way it came off the CD originally. This is in the tuning where the reference frequencies of the music is where A equals 440. And then I did a digital transposition on the same music. I changed nothing except the frequency. I didn't fool with the EQ, or I didn't compress it, or I didn't doll it up. And let's just let our audience hear what happens when you have the more harmonious frequencies of music.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, Alan, is I'm going to play the original version, and then we won't say anything, and then I'll play the raw version, and you and I will come back and we'll talk about that specific example, okay?
Yeah, exactly. So just for our audience, first time is the original, and the second is the raw music version.
Right, and this is the violin sample that you sent me. Here we go.
Here we go.
Wow. Well, I mean, when I first heard this down in LA at that sound healing conference that you and I connected at about 2 years ago, um, obviously I was in a much more intensive and immersive sound field, but even then I could still hear a resonant trail of what I experienced then. And I mean, for me, what I hear with that is twofold. Number one, it feels to me like the music has a longer tail. And when I say longer tail, it seems to me on the raw stuff, almost it doesn't last longer in terms of sound, but what I'm hearing feels like it lasts longer. And that was my biggest experience when I heard it in LA. And there's something about when I hear it in raw, and it came across again tonight, that there is almost like a natural gait to the music.
Uh-huh.
It's like the gait of a horse, you know. It feels to me like there's more of a natural gait, and I don't even know why. It just feels that way. I mean, what do you think about that? And do you get other feedback along those lines?
Well, we all have what we call chakras, right? We knowledge of energy centers, and they go from the top of your head to the base of your spine. And the 440 music is not tuned to any resonance along that chakra trail. But when we tune to the raw frequency, it tunes right for the target. It goes right to the heart. It stimulates the emotion. And the heart is senior to even the brain. The last thing to die is the heart. And that's where all our stuff is. So that it really, really strikes us in the chest, and we feel it better. And this then resonates through the entire body, much like if there's like a certain note in the shower that's louder than the rest. Well, the raw frequencies are all the notes that are louder in your body than the rest. It just resonates. And also remember, most likely when this music was composed, the raw tuning was what it was composed in.
Right. Right. So it's coming back to its kind of natural, its own natural state of composition.
It's smoother, and you really, if you put on headphones, the mix opens up for some reason. It's just easier to absorb. Much like a radio station, the old AM radio station. Remember, there was if you weren't quite on the station, it was a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
Really tuned it in perfectly. It got really clear. It's the same thing. 440 is a little fuzzy, but the 424 business is really clear.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to listen to Enya, and we're going to go the original of Enya. And when that snippet is done, we're going to go into the raw version of Enya. Here we go.
Right.
Wow, that was really interesting.
It's more relaxed for some reason.